Okay, we're going to be talking about child discipline. And the verses I'm going to use is Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24, and Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11. I'll be using some commentary with this video, and this isn't going to be more than 5-6 minutes long, so if it goes past that, I apologize. But kids today are being allowed to walk all over their biological parents, and this is wrong. Now, if the parents are bad, okay, but if they're not bad, if they are good parents, then the only people that should be stepping in are actually the parents themselves. Kids at an early age, parents see this, I've seen this with my son, they can bluntly, at an early age, as soon as they learn how to talk, they will bluntly tell you no. You could be asking them, it's time for bed, and they'll, of course, it's the habits of all kids to fight the parents come bedtime. My son is not an exception to this. In fact, I've come sometimes to wonder if he's actually above the exception, and he's actually sometimes worse. But I can understand that he's not. Kids are just like him. They will fight their parents, they will say no. But at that age, from the age from when they're born to about 15, 16 years old, they have to be raised right. Now, what constitutes as right? Righteousness versus self-righteousness. The definition for righteousness is, what do we do right, regardless of how we feel about the circumstances? Self-righteousness is, I'll do what's right for me, regardless of what you think. That's self-righteousness. Discipline is a tool for teaching righteousness. Okay, little Johnny comes home with a note, and teachers are informing youth that he's slapping, spitting, and disrupting class. It is important for a child to have a good education. And them being a our children that are being disruptive in class is preventing not only that child themselves from getting a good education, but also all the others that the teacher has to take time to deal with that student. On top of that, it frustrates the teacher. We've seen examples in the media that teachers sometimes end up going too far, and that is wrong. Now, our first verse we're going to read is out of Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24, and I want to talk about what is appropriate and inappropriate discipline. We can debate this all day long, but this is typically my view. Now, I do not advocate whatsoever the abuse of a child, the beating of children. That is not cool. That is very wrong. Now, we'll get started. This is out of Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24. Whoever spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him is diligent to discipline him. Now, the rod, I've noticed, is also talking about a physical rod. Like I said, beating of a child is wrong. Completely, utterly wrong. I have seen cases where children are beaten black and blue because their parents took it too far. Okay, what is the appropriate point to when we can strike a child without hurting them, but at the same time get their attention? That question serves the answer. To the point to when we catch their attention, but we don't hurt them. Now, I have spanked my son, not to the point of hurting him, but to the point of gaining his attention. And immediately after, I sat him on my knee. I've always done this. Sat him on my knee, hugged him, explained to him what he did wrong, and assure him that his father loves him. Now, when a young child gets used to this method, what can happen is suddenly you start getting to the point where you don't have to use the rod anymore. All you have to do is just express disappointment in most occasions, and you will drill it into their heads that was inappropriate behavior. When they start getting to the teen years now, that's a little iffy. I've seen this with my niece. She's very rebellious, but she's a good kid. Now, kids today, they don't respect authority, they don't respect property, they don't respect others. I mean, we hear about police shootings everywhere, we hear about people's homes getting broken into, and others, I mean, just a few years ago, and I'm not sure if this is still practiced though, but there were kids filming each other knocking out elderly people and unsuspecting people. Where did this come from? What happened? How did they get started? I'll tell you exactly how they got started. They got started whenever a bunch of children that were not raised properly started to have fun with older people. What they thought was fun. Now, if we're going to teach our children to respect authority, when it comes to schools, in cases of teachers, we have to assure our children respect and listen to their teachers, because in that role, their teacher is the authority. Now, if a child is coming home telling you their teacher is doing something bad, yes, you need to look into that. But if that's not the case, then what we need to do is we need to start making sure kids are respecting their authority. That includes mom, dad, whoever's watching them, grandma, grandpa, teachers, babysitters, and I have seen cases where I've seen examples where parents will use the children against one another. They will tell the child you don't have to listen to that mom or dad, just ignore what they say, or they will use their authority is the other. Now, first of all, those of us who have loved ones, a wife. Now, if a husband is teaching his son and allowing his son to walk all over the love of his life and utterly disrespect her, then I have to question whether or not she was actually the love of his life. Now, I have heard cases where my son has been spitting on his mom, and that is not good. I do not know where he got that from. I do not condone it. In fact, if I was there when he did that, he would have got immediate reprimanded. Now, when children see immediate reaction to the things they do wrong, then they know that they can't get away with wrong things. We love our children. We don't want to see them in jail. We don't want to see them in prison. You see, this starts at an early age, and sometimes parents will use discipline, but at the same time they've spoiled the child. Whenever you spoil a child, what you do is you take away what the discipline that you have been enforcing. This is a fact. I know someone who got raised just like I did. Spanked when they did something wrong, they got grounded. But the difference between me and him is whenever I got grounded, I listened. But whenever he got grounded, what he would do is he would sneak off and go ahead and go to his friend's house or whoever he liked to hang out with that helped him do wrong. Now, in that event, not only did he got to do a lot of things he liked to do, like race dirt bikes, and he had lots of friends, the wrong friends. I remember when I was a child, this guy and a friend stole a bunch of pencils. That'd be, I'd say, worth at least $40 today. Graphic pencils. For what? The proof they say they stole a pencil. They got caught in the local shopping center stealing gold hubcaps and gold valve stem covers off cars by the police officers. Now I can just imagine how embarrassing that was for the parents. See, that's another thing. Whenever we notice that our children have bad friends, we have to learn how to separate our emotions from this. As far as Star Wars geeks, we have to put our Jedi self in this point. Take our emotions out of it. How do we deal with this? Okay. I got my son who is 6, 7. Right now my son is 5. I'm just using this for an example. My son, about 6, 7 years old, he's going off hanging out with this kid. But however, this kid is he's not grown up without he's grown up without a father. His mother is basically neglecting him, and his uncle beats him. That is unfortunate. Yes, it is greatly unfortunate. But do we continue to allow the bad kid to hang around the biological kid who is learning the wrong things off of this other kid? Unfortunately, you have to separate. You have to separate the good and bad. Think about an apple. Okay, you got one apple on one side and one apple on the other. One's rotten. The other one, if you hold the rotten one up against the good one, that rot will spread to the other one. Kids are the same way. Adults are the same way. We pick up habits. We learn. Same way as husband and wife, eventually after they're married, they learn each other's habits. This happens. It's part of human nature. But we should learn how to properly discipline our children. Now, another verse I was going to talk about is out of Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11. For the moment, all discipline seems painful, rather than pleasant. But later, it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. And no one enjoys getting disciplined. I mean, not even parents enjoy disciplining. If a parent enjoys disciplining their children, then they don't need to be a parent. I know I can explain. Well, earlier I was talking about when I had to spank my son. That tore my heart out. I didn't want to do that. There's quite a few times I had to spank him. I didn't want to. But later, whenever he was listening to his mother, he was listening to me, then I could see the benefits of it. The benefits of the discipline was he stopped rejecting his authority, which was his mother and me. And then afterwards, he accepted the authority. Now you fast forward with that example about 18, 19 years. You put that same thing. What happens if someone 20, 25, 26 rejects authority? Well, if it's a police officer and you can get in trouble. You can get handcuffed and put in jail. Resisting arrest. Talking back to a judge. You don't do that. Those of us who are adults who have been disciplined by our parents, we know better. Because they won't simply just flog us or spank us and send us on our way. No, they'll put us behind bars. And nobody wants to be in jail. It is in the hindsight that we accept this. I can remember as a child, me, my mom and dad, my brother had just gotten home from eating. And my mom, I was muttering something, I can't remember exactly what it was, but from my mother's reaction, it had to be smart or inappropriate, because she smacked me in the arm. But me being young, I had to be no more than 12, 13 at the time, probably younger. But me being young and inexperienced, I flew off in rage, and then I got punished for it. What that taught me was self-control. You need to be composed, not explosive. This is another thing that we see adults today that are so explosive that the slightest little thing will set them off. Being explosive, having an explosive temper, that is dangerous. Not just socially, but personally too. Around our families, if we are explosive around our families, our spouses, our children, that's where abuse comes in. And you mix someone with an explosive temper with alcohol and drugs, and what do you got? You got someone who not only is verbally abusive, but you got someone who will hit you at the slightest thing you do. Earlier on, if we as the parents would teach their children self-control. Now, at the time when my mom smacked me, I didn't understand what I said, but afterwards, I understood what was going on. Children should understand that they need to control their temper. Tempers can get out of hand quick. I've seen it. Everybody's seen it. I mean, we see it in public. That's the most embarrassing part. We see it at homes, siblings. We can see adult children who will cut their parents to shreds and attack them with claws out. First of all, if the husband or a wife allows their juvenile children, their teen children, or their adult children to cut their spouse down, you are saying it's okay. You can treat the love of my life any way you see fit, and it's okay. Now, my son, every time he attacked his mother, every time, that offended me. Because not only was he talking bad to his mother, he's talking bad to someone I love. Now, I love my son. I love my son to the moon and back. But his mother, if it wasn't for his mother, he wouldn't exist. If it wasn't for my love for his mother, he wouldn't be here. There's a priority there. But those of us who were disciplined properly, we didn't enjoy it. No, it wasn't enjoyment. But now, hindsight, we see that I learned from it. But we learn from all experiences. But this is all for now. I hope y'all carry something from this. If y'all have a comment, leave one. Good day.